And joining us, French Member of Parliament Sonia Krimi, who is with Emmanuel Macron's La République En Marche party. Thank you for speaking with us here on France 24.
Thank you for inviting me.
You saw this report. Who are you with? Are you with the government spokeswoman who says, let's not try to shun people who wear the veil, let's bring them into society? Or are you with the education minister who says it's a problem, women who wear the veil?
I'm not. When you have a problem in front of a veiled woman, I think the problem is in you. You know, I think it's irresponsible today to mix up everything and to stigmatize a national community. You know, we have to integrate. You have to integrate them inside our society and not spending our time to humiliate them. You know.
This has been running, since the 1980s in this country, this argument over the veil. Why is it so deep? Why is this such a French problem?
Because when you don't have another point to attack a government, when you don't have another point to work on when you are in the opposition, you work on this difficult, you know, we talk about the veil in France since like 30 years, you know. When you have a problem in France, we say, well, it's a problem of immigrants, it's a problem of veiled women, it's a problem with Islam. I need just to tell to our Minister of Education, leave veiled women, leave them to their life and leave them to live with their children, to go with their children outside schools, you know. We have a law. We have a law. Since 1905, we have a law in France, and everybody respects this law, you know. And every time we spend on talking about this veiled woman, we spend our time to say to a part of our national community, you are not welcome in France.
That 1905 law is a law that defines secularism.
Of course.
In France, for instance, you're not allowed to wear the veil if you teach in a classroom or in...
Of course, in the public sector. If you work like a teacher, if you work like in a public hospital, for example, you are not allowed to put a veil. When you work in a private society or private company, you have the right to put what you want. Of course, if you respect a lot of other laws, but you have the right to put it in your private life.
Now, this is coming in the words that shocked everybody last weekend in the regional council in Burgundy from that far-right politician. They come in the context, though, we had this attack at Paris police headquarters, and there were security failings when it came to someone who'd been radicalized. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are wondering, and in the wake of that, are we doing enough to detect radicalization in our midst, something the Interior Minister has picked up on? Are the two events linked? Is there a link between the anguish that's been created by that attack at police headquarters that far-right politician?
To be honest, I think yes. You know, the atmosphere in France and our political landscape today push people to create this problem. We have a problem with Islam in France, of course, but we have a problem not with Islam as a religion. We have a problem with people who, with the name of Islam, doing terrorist attack in France and over the world. And Emmanuel Macron, he said it. We don't have a problem with Islam and with any religion. We have problem of people who use Islam for doing this criminal attack. And he said today, this morning, he said to our
parliamentary group,
to some people from our majority, from our party. He said we have to work in radicalization, but if you don't work efficiently on radicalization, we will not solve the problem. The view of people, how they perceive Islam in every day, you know. Since we have a problem of security in France, if we don't solve it in France in France and in European level and international level, we will have the same problem, the same attack, and the same humiliation of the Muslim of this country. And I think it's irresponsible really to do it, because we are already saying to people, you are not French. We push them in the arm of jihad. We push them every day. You know, I'm armed today. I have a culture. I have a diploma. I have everything. I'm a member of parliament. I came from Africa. My parents are Muslim. But I'm armed to answer this attack every day. I receive letter in my office. You know, you are Muslim. We will kill you. You are not in your home. But I'm armed to answer all this. But other people, they don't have my skills. They are not armed to do it. So I think really it's irresponsible to talk about veiled women like we talk today in a national politics.
It feels like it's going around in circles, doesn't it? Because we had, after the attacks in Paris in 2015, all this talk about how do we live together better, how do we have ecumenical discussions, how do we do all this, and yet we're back to this, and that brings us to the question of this opinion piece signed by all these people asking the president to speak, not to you, but publicly to the nation. What kind of words would you like to hear Emmanuel Macron use?
It's a huge question. So I don't know how to answer your question, because the problem of secularism, or the problem of not respect people, they not respect secularism, or they use secularism today to attack Islam and to attack Muslim people, is since like 30 or 40 years in France, since we have immigration in France. But we have to talk of the origin of this problem, and the origin is education. The origin. I know. I'm not talking in for 1 month, 2 months, or 1 year. I'm talking for our new generation. If you want to really solve this problem,
so how do you explain the words of the education minister that we heard in the report?
I think. You know, we are in the same majority with the Minister of Education, but I think he did huge mistakes when he talked about that. You know, when I see you, I'm not saying an American or English, or I'm seeing you, you know, and I hope when the Minister of our Education in France, when he see women or men, he see them like they are, and not by having this stigmatization. Can I say? Yeah.
You can say that.
Between veiled and unveiled women. I think he did huge mistakes. I think he don't understand our society. We politicians, we have a huge responsibility to ask people to come and to
bring the country together.
Yeah. And not spending our time to say, I don't want to see black people, I don't want to see people pray in a mosque, I don't want to see... No. We have to spend our time to talk about integration, to talk about this national community and how we can integrate them by culture. I know a lot of people, they told me, you talk about the future in 10, 20, and 50 years. It's our work today in France. So I wasn't so comfortable with the word of our Minister of Education. I think he did huge mistakes.
Sonia Krimi, French Member of Parliament, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.